She deserves the world, not everyone does. That's what my mother wrote under my sister's picture. Alara stood in the airport with a big grin, my parents right beside her. They were sending her to Paris. A surprise trip. The same day I turned 30. The worst part? They paid for it with my money. I sat in my kitchen, the candle on my cupcake melting into the frosting, my phone filled with hearts and comments. All for her, none for me. I stared at that post until my eyes hurt. I wanted to laugh, but nothing came out. Just silence. That was the moment something in me broke. I didn't shout, didn't cry. I just knew things would never be the same again. That was the last day I waited for them to care. Before we dive into this story, tell us where in the world you're watching from, and what time it is right now. Someone near you might be watching too. And don't forget to subscribe to support and appreciate the work we do on this channel. When I woke up, everything felt wrong. Not loud wrong, quiet wrong. The kind where the ceiling looks the same but your chest feels like someone rearranged your ribs while you slept. I got dressed, went to work, said nothing. Louise from accounting saw the cupcake box on my desk, half crushed. Frosting smeared on the plastic lid. Whose birthday? No one's. He didn't ask again. I kept my head down, answered emails, filed reports, smiled when I had to, but my phone kept buzzing. More comments on Mom's post, more people congratulating Alara, more strangers telling my parents how lucky they were to have such an amazing daughter. I turned it face down. At lunch I opened my banking app. There it was, the transfer from 3 months ago, $2,000. The note I'd typed myself, emergency home repair. I scrolled through my messages with Mom, found the conversation. The roof's leaking bad, honey. We can't afford it right now. Just until next month? I'd sent it the same day. She'd thanked me with a heart emoji. Now I looked at Alara's suitcase in that photo. New. Expensive. The kind with the telescoping handle that doesn't jam. I zoomed in on Dad's shirt. Brand new. Tags probably still in the trash. My $2,000. Not for a roof. For Paris. I locked my phone, stared at my desk, at the gray carpet, at the fluorescent lights humming above me like they were tired too. Louise walked past again. Stopped. You okay? I nodded, but I wasn't. Something had shifted. Not broken. Just moved. And I knew I'd never send them money again. I went home and couldn't sit still. My apartment felt smaller, like the walls had moved in while I was gone. I opened the junk drawer in my hallway, the one I never cleaned out. Inside were birthday cards, dozens of them, rubber banded together. I pulled them out, sat on the floor, started going through them. Every single one had Alara's name on it. Glitter cards, pop-up cards, ones with cash still tucked inside from relatives who forgot to mail them. I kept digging, found 3 with my name, all from when I was a teenager. One from my 16th birthday, another from 17, the last one from 19. Nothing after that. I spread them out on the floor like evidence at a crime scene. Alara's pile. Thick, colorful, expensive. Mine, 3 cards. Thin, forgotten. I sat there for 20 minutes, maybe longer. No crying, no anger. Just this strange, hollow clarity. This wasn't new. It had always been this way. I just hadn't wanted to see it. I picked up one of Alara's cards. It was from our aunt. The message inside said, "You make this family shine." I closed it, put everything back, rubber banded them again. Then I shoved the drawer shut. My phone buzzed on the counter. A text from Mom. Alara made it safely. She says the hotel is gorgeous. We're so blessed. I stared at it. Didn't reply. I walked to my bedroom, lay down fully clothed, stared at the ceiling. And for the first time in my life, I let myself think the thing I'd been avoiding for years. They don't love me the same way. Maybe they never did. I turned off my phone. That night, I slept better than I had in weeks. A week later, Mom called. I almost didn't answer. My thumb hovered over the red button, but I picked up. "Celine, finally. I've been trying to reach you. I've been busy. Did you see Alara's photos? The Eiffel Tower at sunset? Absolutely stunning." I said nothing. She's having the time of her life. You know, she said she's never felt more alive. Paris does that to people, I guess. My jaw tightened. We took her to this little bistro near the Seine. Your father had escargot. Can you believe it? He actually liked it. Wait, you're there? Of course. We couldn't let her go alone. It's her first time in Europe. My stomach dropped. You're in Paris? With her? Well, yes. Someone had to take the photos. She laughed. Light. Easy. Like it was nothing. I gripped the phone so hard my knuckles went white. When do you get back? Sunday. We've been here almost a week now. It's been magical. A week. They'd been in Paris for a week. With her. While I sat here thinking they'd just paid for her ticket. No, they went too. Celine, you still there? Yeah, we're so proud of her. She's really blossoming, you know? This trip was exactly what she needed. Those words again. Proud of her. Not us. Not you two. Just her. I have to go. Oh, okay. Love you, sweetie. I hung up before she finished. Set the phone down on the table. Stared at the wall. They didn't just send Alara to Paris. They went with her. Used my money. And didn't tell me. I didn't cry. I laughed. One short, bitter laugh. Then, silence. I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I started digging. Not through drawers this time. Through memory. When Alara got into college, they threw a party, rented a hall, invited everyone. There was a cake with her name in gold frosting. When I got in, they mailed me a card. Congratulations. We knew you could do it. No party. No cake. When she got her first job, Dad bought her a car. Used, but reliable. He spent weeks looking for the right one. When I got mine, they said I should take the bus. Save money. Be smart. When she wanted to study abroad junior year, they somehow scraped together $5,000. When I asked for help with books my senior year, you have loans for that, don't you? Every Christmas, her gifts filled half the living room. Mine fit in a gift bag. When she graduated, they flew out to see her walk. When I did, we'll visit soon. Your father's back is bad right now. They never came. I sat on my couch, piecing it all together like a puzzle I'd been staring at my whole life, but never actually assembled. It wasn't just Paris. It was everything. Every moment. Every choice. Every dollar. She got the world. I got the leftovers. And the worst part? I'd convinced myself it was fair. That maybe I just wasn't as special. That maybe I didn't deserve the same. But sitting there, in the silence of my apartment, I finally let the truth settle. It wasn't about what I deserved. It was about what they chose to give. And they chose her. Every single time. I grabbed my laptop. Opened a browser. Typed. How to start over. A month passed. I thought I was fine. I'd stopped checking their posts. Stopped waiting for calls. Then one night, I slipped. Opened Instagram. Scrolled. Found Alara's page. There she was. Cafe tables. Cobblestone streets. Smiling in front of fountains I'd never see. I kept scrolling. Then I saw it. A close-up photo. Her hand holding a red leather handbag. Expensive. The kind with the tiny gold clasp. The caption read, "Gift from my sister. She's the best. Love you, Celine." I froze. Read it again. Gift from my sister. I hadn't sent her anything. My hand started shaking. I opened my messages with Mom. Scrolled back 2 months. "Honey, can I borrow your card for gas? I'll pay you back Friday." I'd sent her the details. She said thank you. I never saw the money again. And now I was. Staring at a $300 handbag on Alara's arm. My card. My money. They didn't just take it. They lied about it. Then gave me credit for the gift, like I'd chosen it. I sat there. Phone in my lap. Breathing hard. That was it. That was the moment I stopped being sad and started being something else. Not angry. Anger fades. This was colder. Clearer. I screenshotted the post. Then I deleted Instagram off my phone. I didn't need to see any more. I already knew enough. The next morning, I walked into my bank. "I need to withdraw everything," I told the teller. She looked at me. "All of it?" "Every cent." She nodded. 10 minutes later, I walked out with my savings in my account locked, password changed, untouchable. For the first time in years, I felt like I owned something. Ever had a moment you finally took your power back? Tell me in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss what Celine does next. My life. I walked out of that bank differently than I walked in. Not taller, not louder, just solid. The cash sat in my account now, protected, password changed. Security questions only I knew the answers to. Nobody could touch it. Not Mom with her emergencies, not Dad with his just this once, not Alara with her perfect smile and her Paris photos. I stopped at a coffee shop on the way home, ordered something I actually wanted. Not the cheapest thing, not the small, the good one. Sat by the window, watched people pass. For years I'd been trying to buy their love. 200 here, 500 there, 1,000 when they really needed it. And what did I get? A fake credit for a handbag I never bought. I pulled out my phone, opened my notes app, started typing. Things I want to do. Learn something new. Take a class. Start a side project. Stop waiting for permission to live. I stared at that list. Then I opened my laptop right there in the cafe. Typed into Google, skills you can learn online. The results filled the screen. Coding, design, marketing, writing, video editing. I clicked on one. Digital marketing, a course. 6 weeks, self-paced. It cost $400. Old me would have closed the tab. Told myself it was too much. Saved it for an emergency. New me clicked, enroll now. Typed in my card info. Hit submit. The confirmation email arrived 30 seconds later. I smiled. Not a big smile, just a small one, but it was real. That night, I started lesson 1. No one knew. No one asked. This was mine. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was moving towards something, instead of just away from everything. The course was harder than I expected. Not impossible, just real. Every night after work, I came home, microwaved something, and opened my laptop. Lesson after lesson, video after video, how to run ads, how to write copy, how to track metrics and read data like it was telling you a story. Some nights I wanted to quit. My brain felt full. My eyes burned, but I kept going. Week 3, they gave us an assignment. Build a fake campaign for a fake business. I picked a bakery, made up a name, designed the ads, wrote the captions. The instructor left a comment. "This is excellent work. You have an eye for this." I read it 5 times. Nobody had ever said that to me before. Week 5, I started looking around my neighborhood, really looking. Small businesses, local shops, places that didn't have websites or barely had social media. I walked into a bakery 2 blocks from my apartment. The owner was wiping down tables. "Can I help you?" "Yeah. Do you run ads online?" She laughed. "Honey, I barely know how to post a photo." I took a breath. I could help. I'm learning digital marketing. I need experience. You need customers. We could try something small. She looked at me for a long moment. "How much?" $300. 1 month. If it doesn't work, you don't pay me again." She thought about it, then nodded. "Okay, let's try." I left with her phone number and a handshake. That night, I built her first ad campaign. My hands were shaking the whole time, not from fear, from something else. Excitement, hope, the feeling that maybe, finally, I was building something that was mine. 3 weeks later, the bakery owner called me. "Celine, we sold out." I almost dropped my phone. "What?" "Saturday morning, completely sold out by noon. We've never done that before. Not even on holidays." My chest tightened. The ad worked? Worked? We had a line out the door, people saying they saw us on Facebook. I had to call my daughter in to help. I sat down on my couch, stared at the wall. It worked. My first real client. My first real campaign. It actually worked. "Can you do it again?" she asked. "Yeah, absolutely." "Good. I'm telling my friend about you. She owns a flower shop on 5th. She'll call you." 2 days later she did. Then someone else called. A guy who ran a car detailing service. By the end of the month, I had 4 clients. Small businesses, local people. They paid me on time, thanked me, told their friends. I was making almost as much from the side work as I was from my day job. One Saturday, I went back to the bakery to take new photos for an ad. The owner handed me a box when I finished. "What's this?" "Cupcakes. For you." I opened it. 6 cupcakes, perfectly frosted. One had a candle stuck in the center. She smiled. "Happy early birthday." I stared at that box. A stranger remembered my birthday. My own parents hadn't called in 2 months. I looked up at her. "Thank you." She patted my shoulder. "You're good at this, kid. Don't stop." I carried that box home like it was made of glass. And that night, I lit the candle, made a wish, blew it out. For the first time in years, I actually believed it might come true. The flower shop owner loved her ads. So did the car detailing guy. Word spread faster than I expected. By November, I had 8 clients, then 10. I was waking up earlier, staying up later, but didn't feel tired. I felt alive. The day job started feeling like the side gig. I'd sit in meetings, nodding, taking notes, but my mind was somewhere else, planning campaigns, writing copy, checking metrics on my phone under the table. One morning, my boss pulled me aside. "You seem distracted lately." "I'm fine." "You sure? Because your work's been..." "Fine. Just fine. And you used to be sharper than that." I nodded, apologized, promised I'd focus. But that night, I ran the numbers. My side income from October, $3,000. My salary, $2,800. I stared at my laptop screen. I was making more from my side work than my real job, and I was only working part-time on it. My hands hovered over the keyboard. Then I opened a new document, typed 4 words, 2 weeks' notice. I didn't send it that night. I sat with it, slept on it, woke up the next morning and read it again. Then I hit send. My boss called me an hour later. "Are you serious?" "Yeah. Where are you going?" "I'm starting my own thing." Silence. "Good luck," he finally said. I hung up. 2 weeks later, I walked out of that office for the last time. No cake, no party, just a box with my stuff and a nod from Luis. "You're really doing it," he said. "Yeah, brave." I smiled. "Or stupid." He laughed. "Maybe both." I drove home with the windows down. No safety net, no backup plan. Just me. And for the first time in 30 years, that felt like enough. 3 months into running my business full-time, my phone buzzed at midnight. Mom. I hadn't heard from her since Paris. I stared at the screen, let it ring twice, then picked up. "Celine?" "Yeah." Her voice sounded strained, thin. "It's about Alara." My stomach dropped. "What happened?" "She lost her job. Budget cuts. They let half the office go." I said nothing. "She's devastated. She's moving back home next week." I waited. "We're having a family dinner Sunday, I think. I think it would be good if you came. It's been too long." I almost laughed. Too long. She hadn't called me. In months. Hadn't asked how I was. Hadn't noticed I quit my job or started a business or changed my entire life. But now Alara needed something, and suddenly I was family again. "Celine? I'll think about it. Please. She's going through a lot right now. She needs support." So did I thought. "Where were you?" But I didn't say it. "I'll let you know." I hung up before she could say anything else. Sat there in the dark. Part of me wanted to ignore it. Let them handle it without me. But another part, the part that still remembered being invisible at that kitchen table, wanted to go. Not for them. For me. To see if anything had changed. To see if I had. I sent a text an hour later. "I'll be there." Mom replied immediately. "Thank you, sweetheart. Love you." I locked my phone. Didn't reply. Sunday felt like it was coming too fast. But I was ready. Or at least, I thought I was. Sunday came. I pulled up to their house at 6. Same driveway. Same mailbox. Same everything. Except me. I walked to the door. Knocked. Dad answered. "Celine, come in, come in." He hugged me. Quick. Stiff. I stepped inside. The walls were covered in photos. I scanned them while taking off my coat. Alara at graduation. Alara in Paris. Alara at the beach. Alara blowing out candles. I looked for myself. Found one, tucked in the corner by the bathroom. My high school portrait. 17 years old. Nothing recent. Nothing at all. "Dinner's almost ready," Mom called from the kitchen. I walked in. She was stirring something on the stove. She turned, smiled. "You look good. Did you lose weight?" "No." "Oh, well, you look nice." Alara came down the stairs. She looked different. Thinner. Tired. Hair pulled back in a messy bun. "Hey, stranger." She hugged me. It lasted longer than I expected. "Hey." We sat down at the table. Same spots as always. Alara across from me. Mom and Dad at the ends. Dad said grace. We passed the food. Mom started talking immediately. "Alara's going through a tough time. It's hard out there right now. The job market is brutal." Alara nodded, picked at her plate. "She's staying here until she figures things out." "That's good," I said. Mom looked at me. "So what have you been up to?" I set my fork down. "I started my own business." The table went silent. Dad blinked. "What kind of business?" "Digital marketing. I work with local businesses, help them grow. Mom's eyebrows lifted. You started a company? Yeah. By yourself? Yeah. Alara looked up, really looked at me. That's amazing, Celine. And for the first time it didn't sound fake. Put her fork down. Wait. You have your own business? Yeah. Since when? 6 months ago. Dad leaned forward. Why didn't you tell us? I looked at him. Really looked at him. You didn't ask. Silence. Mom shifted in her seat. Well, that's wonderful, honey. Really. How's it going? Good. I have 15 clients now. I'm making more than I did at my old job. Her eyes widened. You quit? 3 months ago. And you're okay? Financially? I almost laughed. Better than okay. Alara was staring at me now. Something unreadable in her expression. Dad cleared his throat. That's really impressive, Celine. Thanks. Mom reached for her water. I just wish you'd told us. We could have helped. I set my fork down carefully. With what? Money? She blinked. Well, advice. Support. Like the $2,000 I gave you for the roof. The table froze. Mom's face went pale. Celine. The roof that never got fixed. The emergency that turned into Paris. Dad looked down. Said nothing. Alara stopped eating. Mom's voice got small. We were going to pay you back. When? She didn't answer. I stood up, grabbed my plate. I'm not mad. I just needed you to know I know. I walked to the kitchen, rinsed my plate, came back, sat down. I'm doing fine. I don't need help. I just wanted you to know that I exist. That line says everything. If you've ever felt unseen, comment below. Your story matters. Subscribe for the next chapter of Celine's strength. Alara's eyes were glassy. Celine, it's okay. I looked at her. I'm not saying this to hurt anyone. I just needed to say it out loud. Mom wiped her eyes. Dad stared at his hands. We finished dinner in near silence. And when I left that night, Mom walked me to the door. She handed me an envelope. What's this? Your birthday. I'm sorry it's late. I opened it. A card. No money. Just words. We're proud of you. I nodded. Thanks. It was enough. I drove home with that card on the passenger seat. Didn't open it again. Didn't need to. The words were already burned into my brain. We're proud of you. 4 words. Years too late. But they were there. When I got home, I placed the card on my desk. Not in a drawer. Not hidden away. Right there. Where I could see it. Not as proof. Not as a trophy. As closure. I didn't need them to validate me anymore. But it still felt good to hear. That night, I got an email. A new client inquiry. A bookstore downtown. They'd heard about me from the flower shop owner. I replied within 10 minutes. We scheduled a call for Monday. The next morning, I woke up early. Made coffee. Sat at my desk. Checked my metrics. 3 clients had sales spikes over the weekend. One sent me a thank you text. You're a magician. Keep doing what you're doing. I smiled. This was my life now. No one handed it to me. No one paid for it. I built it, brick by brick, late night by late night, and it was mine. My phone buzzed. Alara, can we talk sometime? Just us? I stared at the message. Part of me wanted to ignore it, let her sit with the awkwardness like I had for years, but I wasn't that person anymore. I typed back. Yeah, coffee next week? I'd like that. I set my phone down, opened my laptop, got back to work, because this was the difference now. I didn't wait for people to see me anymore. I kept moving, with or without them. And for the first time in my life, that didn't feel lonely. It felt like freedom. Weeks passed. I didn't go back to their house. Didn't call, didn't check in. Not out of spite, just distance, healthy distance. My business kept growing. The bookstore campaign launched. Sales tripled in 2 weeks. A coffee roaster hired me, then a yoga studio, then a vintage clothing shop. I was working 12-hour days, but I loved it. Every morning felt like mine. I started sleeping better, eating better, smiling at strangers. One afternoon, I treated myself to new furniture, a real desk, a good chair, not the wobbly hand-me-down I'd been using. I set it up by the window, sat down, looked out at the street. This was my office now, no cubicle, no fluorescent lights, no boss watching the clock, just me, my laptop, my clients. I took a photo of the setup, almost posted it, then stopped. I didn't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. This moment was just for me. That night my phone buzzed. Ilara. Still on for coffee tomorrow? I'd forgotten. Yeah. 10 a.m.? Perfect. Thanks, Celine. I showed up early, ordered my drink, sat by the window. She walked in 5 minutes late. Hair down, no makeup, jeans and a sweater. She looked normal. Not the polished, glowing version from Instagram. Just Ilara. She sat down across from me. Thanks for meeting me. No problem. She stirred her coffee. Didn't drink it. I owe you an apology. I waited. For a lot of things, but mostly for not seeing you. I said nothing. I was so caught up in my own stuff. My job, my life. I didn't realize how badly they treated you. How badly I treated you. Her voice cracked. I'm sorry. I looked at her, really looked, and I believed her. Okay. She blinked. That's it? What else do you want me to say? She shook her head. I don't know. I'm sorry. I know. We talked for an hour. Not about Paris. Not about the money. Just life. She told me about her job. How she'd felt like a failure when they let her go. How she'd been pretending everything was perfect online while Arlie holding it together. I told her about my business, the late nights, the fear, the pride. It wasn't warm, wasn't like old friends reconnecting, but it was honest. When we left, she hugged me again. Can we do this again sometime? Maybe. She nodded, didn't push. I watched her walk to her car. For the first time, I didn't feel anger when I looked at her. Just nothing. Not love, not hate, just neutral. And that felt like progress. Months passed after that. I stopped checking my parents' social media, stopped wondering if they'd call. I focused on my work, my clients, my life. I started going to the gym, picked up a hobby painting, badly, but I didn't care. I made new friends, people who didn't know my family, didn't know the old me. They just knew this version, the one who showed up, who built things, who didn't wait for permission to exist. One night, I sat on my couch with a glass of wine and looked around my apartment. New desk, new art on the walls, plants that were actually alive. Everything here, I'd bought myself. Everything here, I'd earned. No one gave it to me. No one took it away. I pulled out my phone, scrolled through my calendar. 20 clients now, deposits lined up for the next 2 months. I was booked solid. I closed my eyes, and I felt it. Peace. Not the loud kind, not the kind you announce, just quiet, steady, real. I wasn't waiting anymore, not for apologies, not for validation, not for anything. I was just living, and it was enough. 6 months later, my phone rang. Ilara. I almost didn't pick up, but I did. Hey, you busy? Kind of. What's up? I got a job. I sat up. That's great. Yeah, it's small, but it's near you, actually. I'm moving in 2 weeks. Oh, silence. I was wondering if maybe we could meet up sometime, after I settle in. I thought about it. Sure. Really? Yeah, why not? She exhaled. Okay, cool. I'll text you once I'm moved in. Sounds good. We hung up. I sat there, for a minute. Ilara was moving nearby. I didn't feel dread. Didn't feel excitement. Just curious. 2 weeks later, she texted. Coffee? Same place? Sure. Saturday at 11. I showed up on time. She was already there. She looked better, healthier. Her eyes weren't as tired. Hey, we ordered, sat down. She fidgeted with her cup. I need to tell you something. I waited. Paris wasn't what it looked like. I tilted my head. What do you mean? I mean, it was awful. I was miserable the whole time. I frowned. You looked happy. I was faking it. The whole trip. Mom and Dad kept dragging me to places, taking photos, posting them. But I just wanted to go home. She looked down. I didn't even want to go. They surprised me with it. I couldn't say no. I blinked. You didn't want to go? No. I was stressed about work. I had a project due, but they insisted. Said I needed a break. Her voice cracked. And I used your card for that bag. I knew it was wrong. But Mom said you wouldn't mind. She looked up at me. I'm so sorry, Celine. For all of it. I stared at her. And for the first time, I saw something I hadn't before. She wasn't the golden child. She was trapped too. She kept talking. I didn't know how to tell them no. I never have. I leaned back. What do you mean? Everything they wanted for me. I just did it. College. That job. The trips. The photos. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. She wiped her eyes. But I was so tired. All the time. Pretending to be this perfect version of myself that they wanted. I didn't say anything. And then I lost my job. And I felt like I'd failed them. Like I'd ruined everything. She looked at me. But you just left. You built your own thing. You didn't wait for permission. Her voice broke. I've been jealous of you for months. I blinked. Jealous? Of me? Yes. Because you're free. You don't owe them anything anymore. You don't perform for them. She laughed bitterly. I'm 32 and I still can't disappoint them. I sat with that. All this time, I thought she had everything. But she was just as stuck as I was. Just in a different cage. Why didn't you ever say anything? She shrugged. I didn't think I was allowed to complain. I had everything, right? The trips, the attention. How could I say I was unhappy? I exhaled slowly. Alara, I know. I should have spoken up. Should have been honest. With them. With you. She reached across the table. I'm sorry. For the bag. For the money. For not standing up for you when they ignored you. I looked at her hand. Then I took it. Okay. Okay? Yeah, I believe you. She squeezed my hand. Thank you. We sat there. Two sisters. Both trying to figure out who they were outside of their parents' expectations. It wasn't perfect. But it was real. A year passed. I turned 31 on a Tuesday. This time, I didn't sit alone in my kitchen. I invited people. Real people. Luis from my old job. The bakery owner. A few clients who'd become friends. Alara. We met at a restaurant. Nothing fancy. Just good food and better company. They sang to me. Loudly. Off-key. I laughed so hard I cried. There was cake. Real cake. With my name on it. Candles. 31 of them. I blew them out. Made a wish. Everyone clapped. Speech! Someone yelled. I stood up. Held my glass. A year ago, I spent my birthday alone. And I thought that was rock bottom. People got quiet. But it wasn't. It was the start of something. I looked around the table. I learned that you can't wait for people to see you. You have to see yourself first. Alara smiled, wiped her eyes. So thank you. For being here. For choosing to be here. We clinked glasses. Later that night, my phone buzzed. Mom. Happy birthday, sweetheart. We love you. I stared at it. Then I typed back. Thank you. Short. Simple. Honest. I didn't need more than that. A second text came through. Alara. Happy birthday. I'm proud of you. I smiled. Typed back. Thanks. I'm proud of me. Too. I locked my phone. Set it down. Looked around my apartment. At the life I'd built. The business that was thriving. The friends who showed up. No one handed me this. No one paid for it. I earned it. Every single piece. And that felt better than any gift they could have given me. I grabbed my coat. Walked outside. The air was cold. Clean. I looked up at the sky. And I realized something. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't waiting anymore. I was just here. Living. Finally. 6 months later, I stood at the airport. Not to send anyone off, but to leave. My passport felt new in my hands. The pages still stiff. Destination. Lisbon. A client there wanted to expand globally. They asked if I'd come help. I said yes before I could talk myself out of it. The old me would have asked permission. Would have waited for someone to say it was okay to want more. This version didn't wait. As I walked through security, I glanced at my phone. A message from Mom. Safe travels, sweetheart. Another from Alara. Go show them what you can do. I smiled. Not because I needed it, but because it didn't hurt anymore. When the plane took off, I looked out the window. Clouds below, sunlight ahead. I thought about that night a year ago, the melted candle, the empty kitchen, the silence. How small my world had felt, and how wide it was now. No one had handed me this life. I built it, piece by piece, choice by choice. I closed my eyes, breathed in the quiet. For the first time, I wasn't running from the past. I was walking toward the future, and it was mine. Celine's story ends here, but yours might be just beginning. Subscribe for more stories about becoming your own person, and share your thoughts below. Completely mine.